Welcome back to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. So, I wanted to first start off by saying that regardless of race, we have moved to a time in society where premarital sex is considered the norm more and more. And although premarital sex isn't idea for every woman and not even for some men, are Black women expected to dish out more quickly than other women? And, when we look at certain television shows and we look at a lot of videos and just how in the media, for the main part, that Black women are portrayed, it looks like, she easily gives it out. She gives her sexuality out as if it's a piece of candy. It's of little to no value. And that would leave society and people to stereotype Black women that they're easy. They're easy to get, they're easy to bed. And I think even Black men, not all Black men, but a lot of Black men have bought into this idea that Black women are easy as well. And that's just not necessarily the case. Even when it's a situation where, you know, for example, if there's a brother that meets a woman and she says, "Hey, I'm not ready to have sex yet. I would like a friend, no friends with benefits, and it's just going to be platonic." And I think, some guys have gotten upset, and some guys, if they although they may look at other races of women that may say no, that she's just being chased, or maybe she's looking and waiting for marriage. Oftentimes the Black woman is seen, when she says no, she's looking as if she's playing games, or if she isn't sleeping around with this guy that she told to wait, that she must be sleeping with someone, basically insinuating that the Black woman is a unkept, not unkept, but like she's a loose woman basically, versus, hey, maybe she's looking for marriage too, or something more serious than just a friends with benefits. So that leaves us with the question: are Black women reluctant to say no, or not now, out of fear of being rejected? Okay, we live in a society where a Black man will say that he didn't fully get to know his child's mother well enough. So that is why he had to leave. Okay, so a lot of microwave relationships, friends with benefits, booty calls, whatever you want to call them, basically having sex with someone before you get to know them and making life altering decisions, such as children. But do we have more Black men who are patient enough to wait and truly start off as friends? Okay, so on one hand, he's saying, hey, the woman, just gave it up quickly. That's why I had to leave, because she turned out to be a monster, or maybe vice versa. Maybe as a woman, you met a guy, he ends up, being like a serial killer. I don't know, something like that. But are we willing to wait more until we get to know people better? Okay, so as Black women, majority of us were taught through our experience with dating that, number one, having a male friend who is heterosexual includes sex. So if he's not gay and you're friends with a guy, 9 times out of 10, you're expected to have sex with him, especially in this day and age. No more just friends, going to a park, going fishing, something that does not include sex, actually getting to know the person for who they are, and, which could build a solid relationship, when you start off as friends. Number two, that the girl who is dishing out the goods gets more attention placed on her. So we're taught that, I think, a lot as Black women, the girl that's giving out the goods, you're getting passed up on for the girl who is giving it up. Okay, so a lot of guys will say that they don't want a girl that is loose and that every guy has had. She's not, he doesn't want a woman that's showing her picture everywhere, but at times this is the girl that gets the most attention, even if it's the wrong attention. Number three, what you won't do, another one will ideology. So, if a guy says, hey, if you know what you won't do, the other woman I know will. This ideology basically conditions Black women that they are dispensable, and this is at the heart, or a core component of why so many people within the Black community have children by people they dislike, hate, or have nothing in common with. Okay, because it's so easy to make someone dispensable, throw someone away. Having sex so quickly before getting to know someone, and that's why we have so many children in our communities that don't have parents that stick together, because the parents never knew each other to begin with, and then when they find out more about each other through sexual relationships, and which really is backwards, you need to get to know someone before you have sex, then you're finding out that you don't like this person, and it's just leaving more children without two-parent homes. Number four, many Black women were never taught that a man should have to earn your trust throughout time. And a man that rushes you doesn't truly love you. This is a big one too, because, you know, it's so rushed. You meet some guy, you have sex with them, you're hoping that he accepts you, versus it being reversed. You meeting some guy, you're hoping he accepts you, and then you have sex with him after marriage. That's the number one goal to aim for, at least, or a guy that throughout time, that respects you. And I think in our culture, especially with a lot of the brothers, they're saying, like, I don't have to prove myself to anyone. I don't, which is, I would say, maybe on a baseline level, that's true. You don't have to go around to every single person proving yourself. But when it comes to someone that, hopefully you're talking about a serious relationship with, and hopefully marriage, that you are proving the things that you're saying. And, as women, we have to be careful that, instead of a guy just talking what he's saying, that he's actually proving through his actions, it's a verb. He's actually proving what he says, and that takes time. You're not going to get to know someone in a month. You can know someone for a whole lifetime, and completely not know everything about them. So definitely not in a few months. Getting to know someone. And if you hear that from a guy saying, "Hey, I don't have to prove nothing to you," I don't, but he's asking to have sex with you, that's a red flag right there. Because what do you want me to prove myself to you sexually, but you're not willing to prove who you are character wise. So as Black women, we definitely need to watch out for that. Um, but I'd like to encourage any Black women that may be listening. Okay, I want to encourage you that you don't have to have sex with a man to feel special, because you already are wonderful. Okay, I know that could be tough, especially, you know, um, younger women first starting out. Every girl wants to be, picked by a certain guy or whatever like that. But it comes a time, that you have to have self-confidence to know that you're special without that person having to pick you, especially if they only pick you based off of you having sex, especially before you're ready. Number two, your body is your temple, and you should be very cautious with whom you let enter your temple. And that's another big one, because we also live in a culture that says, hey, a woman's body isn't nothing. They're using other derogatory terms um and adjectives, but actually your body is very special as a woman. um and I think, and I caution the brothers out there, for if they're talking bad about other women, but they expect their daughter to have a certain respect for themselves, that's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You can't disrespect other women's bodies out there and think that you're going to have something positive to say to your daughter to convince her in this world that says, that your body is expendable. How are you going to teach her that it's not expendable if you at night are doing other women the way that you don't want your daughters to be treated? And as Black women, we need to have more respect for our body, that it's a temple, and that you shouldn't let people in and out of your body. And it's a spiritual component with that too. Every time you engage physically with people, you're also exchanging spiritual energy. And I think that, like I said, that's also at the core of why a lot of Black women, or some of them, are damaged, because of all, the men, or that may have let us down, and having sex with them, and them living that spiritual residue upon us. So that's why it's best to treat your body as a temple and very special. And number three, any man that rushes you does not love or care for you. Okay, I'll repeat that again. Any man that rushes you does not love or care for you. That also includes guys who give you an ultimatum that includes him dealing with another woman if you don't perform sexually, okay? They may feel justified and say, hey, Sarah or Katie over here, she'll give me sex if you don't give me sex. But what a lot of black women need to realize is that this is this man's mindset with everything, pretty much. Especially if you're first getting to know this guy, he's throwing this ultimatum up. Like, what else would he throw that ultimatum up? If you don't do this or if you don't do that, then someone else will do it. Okay. Like I said, if he rushes you, he couldn't care about your feelings, because if he cared about your feelings, he would see where you were coming from and try to make a compromise in between if he felt like you were special enough. And it's not about him feeling like you're special enough. It's about you being special enough within yourself. Let me continue. Um, or when he's throwing up this ultimatum, if a guy does there or doesn't answer your calls or switches up his routine with you, if you tell him that you're not ready, so he acts like he's no longer interested. Number four, if a man ghosts you, so ghosting is when you're actually talking to someone, you're having this communication, and then out of the blue they disappear. Okay. So if a guy ghosts you, when you tell him no to sex, it's the same thing he would have done after he got sex from you. Okay. So if a guy ghosts you as soon as you tell him that you're not ready to have sex, it's the same thing he would have done to you if you would have gave it to him. And that's why it's a good thing that as young black women and even older black women, it's never too late to learn to go ahead and wait and have that self-confidence inside of yourself, because you have a gut feeling. And if you feel so pressured to give a guy sex so that he will stay, he's going to do the same thing after he gets it. And that's what sets up a lot of one night stands and whatnot. If you're trying to get a guy to stay, just to have sex. Like I said, let me continue. I also want to encourage more black women to be okay. To be okay with a guy saying he doesn't want to see you again if you say no. Be okay with that. It doesn't feel the greatest, but it'll wear off. Okay? Be okay with him catching an attitude with you if you say no. Okay? And I think that's a good thing too, because, you learn the true character about someone when you tell them no. Okay? And it's good that you learn before you give yourself away, if that person catches an attitude or becomes abusive. Also, be okay with seeing a guy's true intention or true colors if you say no. Like I said, people who can act ugly, or they'll show you their character if they're strong or not if you say no. Be okay with not feeling any less than if a guy walks away. Okay, so be okay with still feeling like a queen, still feeling like a princess, still holding your self worth intact if a guy walks away because you're not moving as quick as he'd like you to move. Okay, lastly, a rejection can be a blessing that the right guy will come along and honor that you have enough respect for yourself to wait. And he too will respect and want to wait with you. Okay? That pretty much concludes this segment. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. If you loved what you heard and you'd like to hear more content, and if you're listening on YouTube or Spotify, please hit the subscribe button or the like button. You can also contact me at thetruthwithtrinity.com. Also, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And you can listen to my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.